Well, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George. George Stobart, ma'am.
How sweet! I once had a stable boy called George. I am Lady Piermont. The common reaction is to kneel and stutter, but it's not obligatory.
A real lady? I mean, you're an honest-to-God aristocrat?
Oh, I don't know about that. Few of my ancestors are honest, not even to God. I can trace my family back to the Normans, but don't let that intimidate you, George.
Bunch of usurping...
Beneath that impressive pedigree, I'm just flesh and blood. The blood may be blue, but the flesh is the plump beef of old England, so to speak.
Ooh.
You appear distracted, George. Is there any way I can help
The
you?
best kind of meat.
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you think he's a gangster?
The Italian suit and the bulge in his pocket?
I know plenty of men with Italian suits and bulges in their pockets.
I
That
bet.
doesn't necessarily make them gangsters.
I'm looking for a murderer.
Good heavens! You're a private detective.
That's correct, ma'am.
What's the term you Americans use?
Dick.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I believe what you're thinking
Yeah.
of is Dick.
Precisely.
Have you come across a man who calls himself Khan?
I'm willing
I am
to...
familiar with only
Oh.
one person named Khan.
Genghis Khan, the legendary Mongol barbarian chieftain?
No, darling. Kevin.
Kevin Khan? I never heard of him.
I'd be most surprised if you had, darling. He's a pharmacist in Hemel Hempstead. Organises fundraising for the Rotarians. Lovely man.
Does he have a scar on his cheek?
I really wouldn't know, sweetie.
Are you here in Paris on vacation?
No, darling, I'm on holiday.
Ha! Good
I needed
retort.
to get away after Algy's funeral.
I didn't realize you were mourning the loss of a loved one.
I'm not. He was my husband.
Oh. God, we British are fantastic.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband's death.
You wouldn't be if you knew him, my dear. It gave me the opportunity to take a well-deserved holiday. Daphne suggested a change of scenery. Paris, she said. A wild romance is just what you need to take your mind off the inquest. Well, the closest I came to romance was being wooed by a drunken Breton chef. I must say I was disappointed with his coq au vin. Not at all what I was expecting. I was thinking of cutting my holiday short, packing my bags and heading back to Hemel Hempstead. That was until last night.
Oh?
What happened to you last night?
I was stricken, Mr. Stobart. Cupid's arrow has cleft my bosom.
They couldn't really miss.
It was just as I'd always imagined it should be. The intimacy of candlelight, romantic music tinkling across the room, and then a stranger's glance. Those brooding eyes,
I'm a
that
stranger.
suave manner,
Paradise.
those tight trousers. He was the man I'd been waiting for all my life.
I'm glad he finally turned up after all these years.
Ah, but it wasn't to be. He was merely toying with my affections. And if I ever catch up with him, he's dead.
Who was the guy who led you on?
His name is Merlin.
Merlin?
Can you think of any use for this tool, ma'am?
I can think of someone I'd like to use it on.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
My God, it's him! That's Merlin!
She represented everything I loved about the English. The lady was totally deranged.
Oh, fuck off.
Merlin? You mean King Arthur's wizard?
Good heavens, no! Monsieur Merlin is a fellow guest. He's the man I've been telling you about. That's the man who spurned me.
The man you know as Merlin is a fake.
What do you mean, sweetie?
He's a murderer. He also uses the name Khan.
I am shocked, Mr. Stobart. Shaken. I took him to be a gentleman, a man of honour. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see what exactly.
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. A bundle of papers, perhaps. The clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin went out.
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting documents in the safe?
Yes, darling, positive.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something of great importance.
Yeah. I'd sure like to get my hands on whatever it is. I'll bet they had something to do with Plantow's briefcase. Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
From top to
If
bottom.
I could get in there, I would. Do you know what this is?
At a guess, I'd say it was a clown's nose.
That's right. It was worn as a disguise by a vicious killer.
As opposed to a kind one.
Ah, Mr. Merlin, perchance.
That's him.
Also known as Mac the Knight.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
I'm no shrinking violet, but that object makes me feel quite queasy.
I just couldn't bring myself to use the buzzer on this dear lady.
Alright, who are you with a noisy paper?
Excuse me, didn't I see your picture in the news? You're that Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Yes, that is me, in person.
I don't want to worry you, but have you had any threats on your life? You know, mysterious phone calls, letters made up of headlines cut from the newspaper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know a guy called Plantow?
I don't know anybody in Paris.
Oh, well, this guy's dead anyhow.
Why do you ask me about dead men? I have seen enough of death to last me a lifetime.
I'm, sure you have. Have you seen a clown?
I beg your pardon?
The clown. A guy in funny pants. Have you seen him?
My pants are from England. Marks and Spencer. They
Good
are
taste.
a pleasure and a comfort to wear.
Not
with
just
much
pants.
support.
I'm real glad to hear
Fine,
that.
elasticated.
You know, it's good to know you
Cotton
Nobel
pants.
Prize winners are human too.
In my country, the people make do with string and egg cartoons.
For pants?
For everything. Oppression is the mother of ingenuity.
Have you any idea what this tool might be used for?
I cannot guess.
Would it mean anything if I told you it was for lifting drain covers?
Such technology fills me with wonder.
I suppose it just flows in the streets in your unpronounceable Eastern European
Do you
state.
recognize this man? He calls himself Khan.
Yes, I know this man. Why do you carry his photograph?
I'm a private detective. What's your interest in Khan?
He is an enemy of my people.
You know he's a killer.
Of course, amongst other things.
Would you help me investigate Khan?
That is not possible. My instructions are to observe. I cannot jeopardize my position as an honored guest of this country's government.
Pussy.
What does this clown's nose suggest to you?
In my country, we have no use for clowns.
I'm glad to hear it.
They were dealt with most severely in the last cultural cleansing.
What about the mimes? Did you get them too?
All gone. Our streets are mime-free.
Sounds like heaven.
Some pogroms are worth it.
Does this goo-smeared tissue mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
May I shake you by the hand?
I do not shake the hands of imperialist dogs.
So you've thrown off
That's
communist
a real bad
oppression
attitude problem you've got there.
and seem to still be a
Thanks
commie.
for your help.
Goodbye.
And to you, my friend.
I want some information.
Who are you? The police?
I'm conducting a private investigation.
Ah, I know only too well what you mean. That is one of the drawbacks of the catering business. When people book into an hotel, they leave their morals at home, no?
I'm looking for a man who dresses like a clown.
This is a highly respectable hotel, monsieur. There are no clowns here.
If you say so. Do you know a man named Plantow?
No, monsieur.
I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Passport?
Your passport.
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
What's wrong
I'm
with you,
sorry,
George?
monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats.
No, that won't work.
Do you have a guest by the name of Khan?
No, monsieur. Perhaps you would care to check the register.
The man who calls himself Khan has a scar on his right cheek.
Vraiment? I tell you, I do not know a man named Khan.
He's
Maybe
under
not,
the name of
but I
Merlin.
noticed a change in his expression when I mentioned the scar. What do you make of this tool?
Stunning, monsieur. I bet you handle it like a professional.
Well, I don't like to brag.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, monsieur. That man is one of our guests.
What name?
I cannot tell you that.
Monsieur
It's Merlin, isn't it? Alias Khan, the clown.
I told you, I cannot tell you that.
Do you recognize this red nose?
No, monsieur.
What do you make of this tissue?
Do you
Oh,
wish
a
me
boat, a
to
hat?
dispose of it for you, monsieur?
Hey, no! It could be useful. I'm holding on to this.
There's a brooch, a hat, a
As
paper
you
boat.
wish, monsieur. Perhaps you would like a little plastic baggie to keep it in?
Nah, it's fine the way it is. Hey, shake my hand.
I'd rather not, monsieur. I'm still sore from the shock administered by one of the guests. He was secretly concealing an electrical device in the palm of his hand. Practical jokes are so puerile, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, sure. There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
I'm guessing we're not just going to be able to...
Excusez-moi.
What?
You are...
No. The door was locked. If the tailor's description was correct, the sign on the door, the sign...
What can we use to get it open? No, the drain cover won't work. I bet it would, though, really. There was an alley around the side of the hotel. Although she
Hi,
might
ma'am.
be happy to distract the concierge.
Did I show you this photograph?
Yes, Doc.
Just a minute, monsieur.
What's your problem?
No problem, if you cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet.
Little too much eagerness
Hey,
there
knock
from
it
Coy
off. Get
Gaultieri.
off, you big ape.
Nothing, Guido. Zilch.
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I had to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
In
You
all
want
of
I
France.
should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
So what's around here? Nothing I can interact with, apparently. So somehow I need to get back in. Well, persuade
Hello
the
again.
receptionist.
This...
That is just
Thanks for your help.
goodbye.
How to do it.
What now?
I've...
Yes?
No, not a real gorilla. It happened right...
Are you...
I want to know what the scroll...
I suggest...
Can't you do it?
What goes on?
I believe Khan, the man with the scar,
I don't
is
know why I
also
just
known
skipped
as
all of that.
Merlin, the man who has taken room 22.
What of it? What do you want?
Access to his room.
Do you have a license, monsieur?
Huh?
A private investigator's license?
Well, not exactly, but I can explain everything.
I am sorry, but without credentials, I cannot help.
I insist you give me the key to Merlin's room.
I cannot do that, monsieur.
This guy Merlin is a menace.
So you say, monsieur.
He's not only a danger to society, but to your guests as well. He has toyed with the affections of Lady Piermont.
Ciel! Are there no depths to which he will not sink?
Precisely. He's already killed once, twice, maybe as many as 3 times.
A lady.
With your help, I just might be able to stop him.
But what if he finds out I have helped you? No, I cannot do it.
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur.
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No, the guests checked out this morning.
I'd like to check into room 21.
That is not possible.
How come? You said it was vacant.
It is reserved for another guest.
Rats.
No, monsieur. Dutch.
Aren't you concerned that your guests are being intimidated by gangsters?
No one else has complained, monsieur. Did they steal anything from you?
Just
Well,
my
no.
dignity.
They didn't find what they were looking for.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't think they did either. Hi, ma'am.
I, for some reason, have a feeling she will be able to...
Would you distract the clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Oh, no. It's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine way for a boy to get licked into shape.
Oh, that
Now
I have
tell
no
me,
doubt.
why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick.
English arrogance, I don't know.
I say! You there, flunky!
Oui, madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course, madame.
Good. I wish to deposit some jewellery for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, bien sûr, madame.
Well, doesn't he walk like a
Over to you, my dear.
big, strong man?
Maybe it wasn't the right room.
As nice as it would be to crash out on that rather comfortable-looking bed.
The cabinet was empty. but it
Gideon's
smelled-
Bible. Out the window with us. Guarantee there will be
The
onions in this
assassin
one.
had been too smart to leave incriminating evidence beside his bed.
That's where I always fall down. Just another wet tissue.
The bed
Ugh.
was freshly made, and the crisp white sheets.
Well, aside Ooh.
It was the battered leather briefcase I'd seen Plantar carrying just before he died. I searched the interior of the briefcase, but as I'd half expected, it was empty.
Scheiße. No, that didn't work.
The closet was a solid...
Well, I gather that. Why are there two different icons?
The closet was a... The closet... It was Khan.
Oh,
I
dear.
had the kind of feeling in my stomach that would usually send me running to the bathroom.
I would have gone out on the balcony.
As Khan opened the wardrobe, I was sure I was dead. But he grabbed his pants quickly and didn't even see me.
This could be embarrassing.
I didn't usually spy on men getting changed.
Well, not usually, but
But
sometimes.
this guy was a killer, and I didn't want any surprises.
It would have been a
He left
fine
his checkered
time
pants on the bed.
to have actually ensnared him while his trousers were off. See, if it were me, I would have been waiting for a good half an hour just to make sure he didn't come back.
I had that kind of feeling you only get from searching still warm pants. The pocket was empty. There was nothing in the pocket. A strip along the side seam of the pants had been unpicked, then sewn back up with strong thread and a special stitch.
How can we get that open?
I couldn't do that. I flipped the pants over. I found an ordinary matchbook. No matches, no clues. But as I pulled it from the pocket, a strong thread came with it. A thread with a metal tag on the end. I found nothing in the pocket. I turned the pants over again. A strip along, then so
what are we looking
the
at
matchbook bore a pattern of swirling color and the words Club Alamut.
here? The Assamites.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
It looks to me like we're supposed to be able to unpick that. What am I missing?
I turned the pants over again.
Aha!
I pulled on the metal tag and
Looks
the
like a
thread came out of
tampon.
the pants. It was like pulling out a ripcord.
So now...
I turned the pants
There
over
we
again.
go.
I searched the pocket gingerly and found a pass card. It read, Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Oh, that bodes well. Let's save the game at this point. Wonder how far our percentage is getting. Oh, we're 29% through the game. Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching, and for now I must bid you adieu.